Bullony Basketball.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. I wanted to do a special episode here today, and I got 7 guests that joined me. Chicago Bulls. This is a favorite teams themed episode. So I got 7 people from the community to talk about their favorite teams. I'm gonna have timestamps here at the very beginning so that you guys can literally jump to whatever team you want to see first and whenever you want to watch them. So we got my guy Willy G here to talk about Denver Nuggets with me, my guy Aden to talk about Boston Celtics, my guy NoaTalksBasketball to talk about, of course, the Chicago Bulls, my man NBA Real Talk to do some Raptors talk, and then the other 3 are actually all Cavaliers fans, so I put them all into one section, which can be cool too because I actually picked them to win the championship before the year, so we can see how that prediction stands right now. My guy NateThaGreat, my guy Joey from the Run in the Paint pod, and then Hoopsnmma. You guys have seen all 3 of them on the channel before. That's actually the great thing, you guys have seen all 7 of these guys on the channel before, so I wanted to bring them all back, talk about their favorite teams a little bit. Might not be covering the whole league in this episode, but hey, you get some inside scoops from some community members that watch their teams and really see what they gotta say. We're a little bit over a month into the year, so I think now is a good time to assess, predict, see what's going on for the rest of the season. Anyways, this is a very long episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Let's just hop right into it. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. Here today with the one and only #1 Denver Nuggets fan, Willy G. How's it going?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. You know, it's been a minute since we've collabed. I think last time I had you on the channel, one of the recent tournaments that I had, it's top 6, I think, out of 32. I'm going to focus on people's favorite teams. I have multiple guests that I'm going to have on for this one. Your team, of course, the Denver Nuggets. How has the first month been, in your opinion, for your team?
Honestly, as expected, I thought that the offseason moves that the Nuggets made centered with the goal of winning a championship again. I honestly think that they should be 11-0. You know, we dropped against the Warriors on opening night, and then the Blazers got us. It's expected, right? There's always going to be some nights in the NBA that anybody can beat you, but sitting at 9-2 as of this recording, no complaints. Jokic is somehow this dude got better. Like, he's already, if you ask me, top 10 player of all time, honestly. Maybe a couple more championships, you could make that argument of top 8. He got better somehow, and I don't even know how. With Cam shooting little terrible, I think there could be a little bit areas for improvement right there. But overall, man, they're doing what they should be doing.
It's crazy too, because obviously we know how efficient Jokic is offensively, and you see guys like Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook who average a triple-double, and they had almost a triple-double once every other game for a season. And right now, this season, I think Jokic, it's like his average is like he gets 3 triple-doubles, then maybe doesn't get one, then 3 more, then doesn't get one. That's an unreal rate, especially for the efficiency he's doing it at. I know Oscar had pretty insane efficiency for his time, but we haven't really seen someone in the 3-point era doing it like this, and the triple-doubles on top of it, and winning.
Just efficient. And I don't know if you saw, but Ty Lue yesterday, post-game, he was like, yeah, our game plan was to have Jokic score, and it's like, you pick your poison, because he's obviously such an elite and efficient playmaker. If you double him, he's going to find the open man, and if you make him score, there's not many dudes that can stop him.
I will say, I do think, you know, this is a conversation for another day, but I do think Ty Lue is an overrated coach as it is. But I mean, yeah, just the way what he did say, I didn't think he'd have 55. Yeah, no one does, because this is a guy who's just unguardable, especially when like Jamal Murray the other night looked pretty good. Bruce Brown's come back, he's looked kind of decent. Christian Brown as well. Really, the only thing that we're waiting on is Cam Johnson. And I think that's a good segue to this next question here, because I want to know what you think will make or break this team, maybe the X factor. I think maybe there is a good sign it could be Cam Johnson, but from a Denver Nuggets fan perspective, do you think it's something else, or is it him?
So on the break side, as long as Jokic is healthy, they're going to be a contender. Knock on all the wood I have around here.
I got some wood in front of me too. I'll knock on.
Yeah, knock on that for us, please. You gotta keep in mind that this when Jamal tore his ACL, and then that following season dragged Facu Campazzo to the playoffs. No disrespect, but he's still
Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers, Nugget legend Austin Rivers, Nugget legend Facundo Campazzo. He still dragged these dudes to the playoff. Granted, sure they had AG and MPJ also, but as long as he's healthy, you still talk about Jamal being healthy, AG being healthy. I don't think it's going to be a break it unless he's done for the season, which again, not going to vote on that. But take it to the next level. I don't even know if it's Cam Johnson, honestly, man. Obviously, the trade for Cam opened up, the possibility to get Big Val off of Dario Saric's contract, to get Tim Hardaway Jr. on a minimum, right? It opened up so many possibilities financially speaking. But just seeing how well Cam has fit with the offense as a playmaker, as a reader, right? He knows when to cut and things of that sort. I think they got exactly what they need. If Cam's shooting comes along, which, this is a dude that career speaking has shot, high 30s, I think like 41% even a couple seasons back, right? There's no reason why he can't come back from shooting. And if you ask me, I think he has been hurt a little bit, because his shot does look a little bit off. I went to a game a couple weeks ago at the start of the season, and during warm-ups, you could tell that his shot just looked a little off. If and when, and I think it's more of a when that happens, I don't see who can stop the Nuggets. Elite shooters with AG, and yes, I'm starting with AG because he is a legit shooter now. I guess that's what happens when you build a gym in your house, right? A full court in your warehouse that he owns up here in Denver. And Jamal obviously being, one of, if not the greatest playoff risers of all time as far as taking his game from season to playoff. I don't see how you stop that in this era, especially with, the best player in the game right now.
I mean, it definitely relies on Jokic's health. I think he's not there. Like, there is no chance. And I do think Cam Johnson is an X factor to an extent where, he doesn't need to give you as many points as Michael Porter Jr. gave you, but if he can give you like maybe 75% of that on the efficiency he was giving you in Brooklyn, I think that's definitely a huge help. I think defensively he's been an improvement. Rebounding, not so much, because Michael Porter Jr. did have big rebounding games for you guys. I do think maybe the biggest thing that you guys have is, you mentioned as well, like Jonas Valanciunas. I think that his minutes are critical, because in previous years Jokic would play so much, and I know disrespect to DeAndre Jordan, because I know you like him, and the veteran league.
NBA champion DeAndre Jordan.
Yep, NBA champion. But let's face it, he just wasn't really usable. I think that exhausted Jokic to the point where it's like, yeah, he was still great, but there were times where it looked like he was running on fumes for multiple games in a playoff series, especially late in games. Sometimes he gets fatigued in previous years, like at the free throw line, and that's one thing I've noticed the most. I don't think that happens as much if Valanciunas is able to relieve him for a little bit more minutes, with good minutes himself.
Bench is an X factor for sure. And it's actually no disrespect to anybody, because these dudes are obviously NBA players, right? They are the top 500 players in the world, including my main man Zeke Naji, who is the highest paid cheerleader in the world. But with that being said, you got Bruce Brown, you got Tim Hardaway Jr., which I love that pickup. He's finally a shooter off the bench, right? The last time I remember the Nuggets having a playable big was Mason Plumlee in the bubble, and when Mason left, it just kind of, sure, Boogie had some good seasons with good season with the Nuggets right here, there, stint, DeAndre, but, even Isaiah Hartenstein, they just haven't had somebody that can actually play ever since Mason Plumlee left.
In terms of the standings, like, what seed are they going to have going into the playoffs if they, make the playoffs, which I'm sure you're going to say they are, of course. And then in the playoffs, what will their verdict be?
So as far as in the standing goes, man, they'll be top two. I think OKC games are going to really go down to the wire with the Nuggets, and I wouldn't be surprised if those end up a tiebreaker. I was actually really high on Houston until Fred VanVleet got hurt. I'd probably say this will be the first time that the Nuggets break 60 wins in a season. They've never done that before, right? I think they'll probably win 62, 64 or so, right? So probably 62 and 20, 64 and 18. That'd be amazing. A lot of people have been saying that OKC is, and they might end up, with the Bulls and the Warriors, as far as being teams that crack 70s. And as far as where they'll end in the playoffs, matchups are everything. But when you have the best player in the NBA, you give him actual shooting weapons. The starters, right, with Cam Johnson when he finds his shot. But if you need to go points, sure, it might be a little bit of a defensive liability, but you can put THJ in there for CB. If you're talking about spacing the floor and giving Jokic options, I don't know who can beat that lineup. That is the Nuggets version of the death lineup that the Warriors ran a few years back, right? So matchups are everything in the NBA. Health being there, I just don't see who beats this team in a 7-game series. Out west, out east, I got the Nuggets in 7 winning it all.
And I think that's definitely fair. I do definitely agree with you that they will be top 2 in the West in terms of seeding. And I would probably agree with you too that I think they'll win 60 games or more. In terms of the playoffs, like, I don't totally disagree with it. I mean, in my preseason predictions, I had the Nuggets go into the finals. Now, you probably won't like hearing that I actually had the Cavs beating them, especially after the season the Cavs had last season. Just looking at like what they've had going on, not to talk about Cleveland, but they've had inconsistencies. They've had people out. Now Darius Garland's out, Jared Allen's out. You can't fully invest in that. I'm looking at a Denver team that's already starting the year, as you said, in their first 11 games, winning 9 of the first 11, and then also on 6 straight at the time we're recording this too. So it's like, this is a team that's already putting it together. Cam Johnson hasn't fully come into his own yet with the team, and maybe you could argue some of these other guys still need to get more comfortable and adapt to one another. With that being said, still feels like Jokic is not breaking a sweat, which I feel like some of the past years, maybe he was, even at this point in the season already, like, and with a worse record. So when it comes down to the playoffs, I could see them winning a championship. I'm still going to stick by it too and say that they will beat OKC, even though OKC has a better record and they just won the championship. Nothing's deterred me from feeling that Denver can't do it.
I mean, there definitely is a lot of season left, and like you said, not to talk too much about the Cavs and the Thunder in that sense, but the Cavs, they haven't been there. When I look at it historically speaking, Jamal has outplayed Donovan Mitchell in a sense, right? Obviously, it was the bubble 5 years ago, different players, things like that. I don't know if you want to say outplayed.
I can't agree with you on that, but you can keep making your point.
But they have some history there,
okay,
right there, right?
Yep.
And then obviously, sure, you have the Twin Tower lineup out there with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, but you actually have a backup though in Big Val now, right? Yeah. So I would still put the Nuggets a little bit ahead. And I mean, we only saw it for like 3 minutes. I believe it was actually against the Suns when Adelman threw out, Jokic and Big Val together, so the problem has always been height. If we just look at the bubble, right, with the Lakers, when they threw out Dwight, JaVale, Thunder, they don't scare me in that sense of who they are. I know they've been playing without J-Dub, but at the end of the day, the Nuggets still took these fools to 7 games with Michael Porter missing half his shoulder, AG missing half his calf. Now that you have actual health, I just don't see it. So I'm fully with you, Nuggets in the finals. Probably Cleveland in the finals also, but I'd still side with Denver.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, even before the year, like, even though I did pick Cleveland over Denver, right now I would probably give Denver the edge and have them, like, I guess, usurp Cleveland in that sense, just because I haven't seen enough consistency from them to give them that nod. Now that we've established that the Denver Nuggets are going to win the championship, I want to just ask you a question about your team before we get into the mini game. It could be a current player, it could be a former player in NBA history that you wish played for the Denver Nuggets.
I have 2 answers for you. That 2008 trade that brought Chauncey Billups to Denver, that brought Antonio McDyess, who ultimately did not join the Nuggets and ultimately went to the Spurs. I always thought that had Antonio McDyess joined the Nuggets, I think it would have been his 3rd stint, so I also can't blame him for at the same time wanting to not join the Nuggets, right? Had McDyess joined the Nuggets that season, they have height to combat the Lakers. Do they get over that hump and win their first championship? Because they would have smacked the Magic in the finals. Everybody knows that the Magic was getting smacked by the Nuggets or the Lakers that year. It would have been cool to win a championship sooner than what they did. You have him inbounding the ball instead of Anthony Carter did, who gave it right to Trevor Ariza in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. History is way different. Melo probably never leaves the Nuggets. Do they get Jokic? I mean, who knows, right? That's obviously a whole what if. Hindsight's 2020, and it obviously worked out because we got a top player of all time, like I said, in Jokic. And then just, to get a little bit fun, I actually probably would have said Kevin Garnett also for that same time period. Don't get me wrong, Kenyon Martin was a beast on the defensive end in his own right, but the big ticket is obviously KG, offensive player that can put up his own points in the sense, right, with Melo, with Chauncey Billups feeding you the rock, J.R. Smith getting hot, and then you have defensive player of the year candidate in it year in and year out in KG. That would have been fun as well.
I think those are good ones, especially like, you think of maybe KG and Melo. I know they had a couple of playoff duels like later on with Boston, New York, so putting them on the same team would be pretty interesting. And of course, like Antonio McDyess, it's not like he was fully done yet. Like, he still was playing for the Spurs, I would say, meaningful minutes. He started, I think, in 2010-11 when they unfortunately lost as a 1 seed to an 8 seed. So, I would say I kind of have 2 as well. One of them is maybe a fit geared toward that team you were talking about. You think about a lot of the maybe small forward position. Of course, you had Carmelo Anthony. I feel like a lot of the guys who were a similar mold positionally, like to him, didn't really have that two-way capability. Like, because you had, Lennis Kleza and like Ronaldo Balkman and Dante Jones, who I even met. But like, I don't think any of those guys have maybe that exactly. I think it would have been cool if you guys had like an Andre Kurolenko on that squad or something. An elite defender, someone who can, knock down the jumper every now and then. And, just a force I feel like to be reckoned with inside. And the other thing I will say, and this one is a little bit more hypothetical too, in the recent years, maybe 3-4 years ago, now obviously this guy would need to be healthy, and in these past 4 years he really hasn't been for the most part. If you had a player like Kawhi playing like playoff Kawhi on Denver with Jokic, with Murray, again, he would need to be healthy, but if he is healthy, I don't think that team ever loses. Playoff time, they're not losing.
That's what we call a pipe dream, right? A healthy Kawhi on the Nuggets. That would be insane. I don't know who stops that team. Defensively, you'd have AG and Kawhi, the perimeter, and even on the post and things like that. That'd be amazing, honestly. You got me cheesing over here about something that'll probably never happen.
I just thought about it too, like, because I saw something after the first 10 games of this season, the only players who were averaging 20 points on 50, 40, 90 shooting this year were Kawhi and Aaron Gordon. Now imagine you put them together in the same front court along with Jokic and Murray. It might be over.
I think that's I don't know if dynasties will ever be a thing anymore in the NBA, especially, the Thunder are probably going to be the closest, depending on what happens this year and into the future, right? But with the new CBA and the aprons and things like that, right? Dynasties are probably a thing of the past, or very few and far in between. That's a dynasty. Like, just put the house on the Nuggets to win, all the championships right there. Touch real quick on what you said about AK-47 beyond the Nuggets. I remember a report that one time the Kings offered Ron Artest, when he was still Ron Artest, to the Nuggets for Lennis Kleza. George Karl specifically said, no, we want, Lennis Kleza. And no disrespect to Lennis Kleza, but Ron Artest kind of fits that same mold of, like you said, a two-way player that AK-47 did back in that day, which, if that trade goes down, you just don't know.
And Kleza was a great shooter. Like, not to disrespect him, but I don't think like defensively can't stack up maybe with Ron Artest or Andre Kurolenko.
No, I'm with you. Totally with you.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm here with my guy Aden. How's it going?
Good, doing good. Excited to talk about the Celtics.
Yes, sir. As you know, this is a really themed episode based on people's favorite teams, a little bit over a month in, and with your team being the Boston Celtics, who are in a very interesting place, I feel like, right now. They're not doing too great, but they're also not doing too bad. They're just kind of hanging around the middle right now as a 500 team at the time of recording this. So I want to know, a little over a month into the year, what are your expectations, or like, how do you feel really about this team right now?
I would say that they're pretty much meeting, I think, realistic expectations without Tatum. I feel like all you can ask for them to be is a 500 team, and that's looking like pretty much what they are. So I don't expect much different. And I think this is pretty much how it's going to be. I think Jalen has been better than expected as a number one option, but I just think the bench and the big rotation is not good enough to, be a good team.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think that the big rotation for one is pretty egregious. And to be honest though, the fact that you guys are in a position right now where you're right in the middle and not that far removed to the 2 seed, or even right now, it's pretty
isn't
crazy.
It 2 games behind the 2 seed or something like that?
Yeah, I think you guys are 4.5 games back at Detroit for 1, and the Knicks and Cavs are tied for 2 with 2.5 games back still. That's pretty impressive. I still feel because I thought beforehand your team was going to be more like the Pacers, and the Pacers were going to be more like the Celtics, where I'm okay, Pacers got a good core of young guys and depth, and really they're mostly just missing Halliburton. I still thought they'd be a playoff contending team, whereas I thought you guys okay, no Tatum, you lose Horford, you lose Holiday and Porzingis, and there's just a whole bunch of guys playing that really haven't before, that I'm maybe they'll kind of it'll be a throwaway year, and just seeing what positives you can find out of it. But it's been the other way around right now. I feel like you guys could make a playoff push, and I'm curious, is that something that you're hopeful for? Because it seems like a championship is not really realistic this year. But.
Yeah, probably not this year. Playoff, there's a lot of Celtics fans who were kind of pro tank, and since the upcoming draft is so good with the three studs at the top end. Like, I feel like some Celtics fans wanted to tank, but I think the team is just too good. So to do that, you would have to make a trade, which I don't think they're going to give away Jalen or Derek White or Pritchard for, like, unless some team overpays. So for the playoffs, I think they're pretty much locked into a play-in spot. That's what I would assume. Like 10-7, I think that's pretty much their range. I don't know if they could get, out of that play-in. So I expect a play-in, and I expect Tatum to come back in March probably and ramp up. And I think that's a good spot to be in, like considering that the season was supposed to be like a rebuilding, just a boring year. I think like having a chance with a healthy Tatum would be a good outcome here.
It very much feels like this is a Brad Stevens type of year for Joe Mazzulla, where for so many years I feel like Brad Stevens was, working magic with teams that maybe shouldn't have been in those positions. And I think maybe he got like a worse rep like later in the years just because like you guys had more talent and were expected maybe to do more. But I think he actually succeeded in those situations. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with there. Where I guess my next question though with you guys, because obviously like we said, no championship really this year, but long term, like with this core, what's like the kind of the make or break with this team? Is it how Tatum recovers? Is it like someone's emergence that's maybe like on the roster people don't know much about, or what do you think?
I think I would say like the majority is definitely Tatum because, without the top 10 player in the NBA, you can't win a championship. And I feel like him getting back to 90% of what he was, like that would be a good outcome. I feel like he wasn't quite what he was like peak. I think he had a couple more years left. So if he can just get back to what he was last year, I think it should like that would be the most priority. And it seems like by all accounts that with the surgery going how it went and like it seems like he's ahead of schedule in a lot of ways. And I think that's definitely a good sign. I guess that would be like the majority. And then for like a smaller, like every team that like wins a championship needs those players. And I think that the Celtics definitely have a couple young guys that people don't really know much about, I guess. And I think that they could. So Hugo Gonzalez has definitely been good this year. Like he showed like a ton of defensive potential. And I think him and Jordan Walsh on the defensive end are definitely like a pretty special like wing like bigger guard type of stoppers, like even smaller guards. I don't know if you saw this, but they played the Sixers like a little bit ago and the Sixers ended up winning, but in the fourth quarter, Walsh played, and he was on Tyrese Maxey, and it was probably like the best that I've seen someone doing the Maxey. Has just been like crazy. Mm-hmm. So I feel like those two guys are like two under the radar like players that could provide like a good role once Tatum is back and once they try to compete again.
Yeah, no, definitely. And especially like, of course you mentioned Gonzalez, but especially with Jordan Walsh, like I got a chance to see him in summer league like a couple years ago, 2023. I remember there was like a sequence where I think he stole the ball like 3 out of like 4 plays, including like 2 dunks that he finished like in fast break. I'm like, this guy's gonna be pretty good. And then I'm sure you saw the other day, I think it was against Orlando, where he had that clutch 3 in the corner that sealed the deal. Like, so I think he's coming into his own. Even guys like Kata and Baylor Shearman, like these guys have been playing a decent amount as well. So just like finding gems kind of in the rough, that I feel like that's why I kind of compare it to what Brad Stevens did, because some of those guys maybe weren't the players they totally were until they developed under him. And maybe you're seeing that more with Joe Mazzulla using like the second and third string players maybe a bit more often, because now he kind of has to, because the core is a little bit different for this year.
Yeah, and Joe's definitely willing. He's not stubborn about playing guys. He'll switch it up. Like some coaches won't. Like a Thibodeau type, but like he'll play anybody. He'll start players randomly, and I think that's a good idea to have in a season where that it's not like super realistic to win a championship, just to like make sure that you're making the best out of your assets. So in the future, when you're trying to win, you're in a good position to do that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. As much as it's I know he's as much a sicko just to win games as much as he can, it's also a year where it's a lot more like scouting, like just with the team you have. With the team that we have here in front of us, the Boston Celtics this year, it seems like you think Tatum is going to come back in like March, but if you had to predict, where do you think they're going to finish in the standings? It sounded like you were saying that 7-10 range, and then in the playoffs, like what will be their verdict? Are they going to lose like in the play-in, first round, second round? What do you think?
Obviously, a lot of stuff could change, but right now, I would say they're probably going to end up probably like the 7 or 8 seed, and I'd say that they're gonna have a winning record. They'll be like right above 500 because I think they can maintain 500. I do think Tatum's gonna come back at some point this year, and I think after that, they'll be a solid team. So I think they'll finish a little bit right above 500 and get out of the play-in. Because the play-in in the East, especially, I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be that difficult if they do have a healthy team. In the playoffs, I don't know. The East is pretty weak. It's not like the West. Like if they're in the West, I would be like, oh, they're not going to beat the Thunder. They're not going to beat the Nuggets. They're not going to beat the Rockets. But in the East, the Pistons, like if the Pistons are the 1 seed or the 8 seed, I think that's not as good as you could ask for in a 1-8 matchup. So I'm not sure. I don't think they'll beat them. Depending on matchup, I'll say they can win 1 series. I don't think they're going to reach the conference finals, but I think they can win 1 round.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say pretty similar, like what I think. I definitely think they are, the way they're rolling right now, they should definitely be a play-in team, and especially with their experience, and especially if teams like my Chicago Bulls are in the play-in again, and our consistency of losing in that round, like, you guys will probably have a good edge there, and especially like these other teams, like Toronto, still like their first year with like their new core too. So I think first round exit is probably like where I would put it, just because, teams like Detroit, Cleveland, New York, while those teams are like maybe not as good at full strength as like Boston, if the Boston's like fully back and everything, Tatum's 100%, I do think it's just going to be a little bit more of an adjustment, like him coming back for the rest of this year.
Yeah, for sure. And like their roster still is definitely worse than last year and the years before. It's definitely like the worst roster they've had in a while. So like expecting them to compete with like a team that's kind of gone all in like the Knicks is maybe a little bit too much to ask this year. So yeah, I think we are around the same range.
I get vibes of like in 2021, you remember when you guys played the Nets and like they had the big 3 then, and I think Jaylen Brown was out that series too. So like
Jaylen Brown was out. Smart was out at some point. It was
And
it was like Tatum.
There was a little bit of like stuff going on there, and I think that's the same thing this year, but we'll see what happens with your team, especially in 2027. It's going to be very interesting. But one other thing I will ask you before we get to the mini game is, with your Boston Celtics, I know you've seen a lot of teams, come through, whether it's right now on the current NBA or 10, 20 years ago, or even 50 years ago. What is one player that I guess you wish played for your Boston Celtics that maybe didn't?
I'm not going to say someone like insane, I'm not going to say like Jordan or something. I'm not going to do that. I'll go with like a guy that I just like a lot. I would say in the NBA right now, I'll go with a current player. I would say Pascal Siakam. I feel like Siakam and Tatum, I feel like that would be really cool in the front. And then even Jalen, if Jalen was there too. But I feel like Siakam at some point could have been realistic for the Celtics to like, they could have traded for him, I'm sure, if they had the assets, and they were competing. But I would say that would be like a good, like realistic player that I think would make Tatum better and Tatum would make him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like too, with Siakam and Jaylen Brown, I feel like those two, I mean, maybe I guess you could argue like what Jamal Murray's done in the playoffs, but I feel like those two get talked about the most from their draft class, is like who's really the top guy. So if they merge forces, I think for one, like there would be like way less, confrontation in that argument, but also I guess it would be more decided like who is really the guy. I feel like Siakam would kind of more adopt to like a lower option in the offense, though. I feel like still Jaylen Brown would be like that, secondary if Jason Tatum's
scorer, but
yeah,
I think Siakam would be nice as like a screener, and like I feel like a Tatum Siakam 2-man game. Like I feel like there's a lot of options there in terms of both of them can shoot, both of them can post up smalls, they can handle they can get to the rim. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would just be a tough matchup to guard.
I think he would definitely have more of like a Draymond role like 10 years ago. I mean, he's a better scorer than Draymond, I think, Siakam, but like just in the sense of like you said, like screening and more so like playing off the ball, maybe playing in the high post, and you got to find like the bigs down low, like diving in. So I could see that. Just one player I guess I would say it's a better player, like maybe more superstar pipe dream type of idea. But I just think about the thing I think about the most is this 2016 free agency, and of course like Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, but I always thought like the perfect fit for him to go somewhere else where he could win but also maybe not get hated like he did would have been the Celtics with like Isaiah Thomas, and if Al Horford was still able to go there, like that would be an interesting trio. I don't know what that would mean for Jason Tatum. Of course you guys still ended up getting Jaylen Brown like that draft anyways, but I don't know what that would mean for him, but I think that would be pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that 2016, I was like 12 years old. So like just not beginning, but just like a real like Celtics fan and kid like like fandom, and to hear like Kevin Durant rumors like that time in middle school or whatever, it was like definitely exciting. Like I was definitely all in. I remember seeing like the updates and looking him up, and that was definitely like an exciting little couple months where it looked like a real possibility.
Yeah, I think like everyone talked about like the Wizards, Raptors, but I feel like then Durant kind of shut those down, and I was like thinking to myself, well, what about Boston? Like it's still in play. He hasn't said anything about it. And then people are like, oh, the Warriors, and they're like, he's not going to go there. That's like ridiculous. And sure enough, he went to the ridiculous spot in the Warriors. So, but yeah, I mean, either one of those, I feel like would have been interesting to see how things change. I mean, obviously though, you guys have won a championship since then, so who knows if you would have had that. And I'm sure that you were very happy when you guys won last year.
I'm good with how it's been.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm here with one of my favorite fellow Chicago Bulls fans, my guy Noah. How's it going?
Good, man. We're from the rack, bro. What's up, man?
This is a favorite teams preview type of episode, and I want to talk about the Bulls since we're both Bulls fans. One of the last teams to lose a game, 5-0, and as of right now, we're 6-5. Things have been really up and really down so far. What has been your first month assessment of the team?
Okay, so first off, I didn't expect for them to be 5-0. I mean, who did, bro? Let's just be honest. As a person who talked a lot about Billy Donovan, I thought he made a great switch. He feels like they actually running real plays. Because everyone knows Billy Donovan favors veterans. Like, if you've been in the league for a while, he gonna play. It's like, he really didn't have any choice but to play the younger guys. You know what I'm saying? Now Noah Songo hasn't played. It's kind of tough. I was looking forward to that. We got the same name. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I think he's been pretty good. Now, they pretty much have lost every single game they played recently. They gotta fix it.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, even with like Billy Donovan, Noah Senge, the rookie, and same thing with like really Buzelis last year. It's like don't really get much playing time early on in a Billy Donovan system. Yes, I think the ball movement was a lot better early on. The defense maybe was a little bit.
They play a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly. Like playing a lot faster too. Part of it is also just showing how valuable Josh Giddey is, because I feel like when he's out there, like the offense looks very disoriented.
Like people are not really giving him his credit. You know what I'm saying? How much he's really turned his game around. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't too impressed when he first got to Chicago. I wasn't. I really wasn't. So I thought he'll make an all-star. I think he'll make the all-star team if he can keep playing like this ankle that he actually his ankle was actually broken by Herter and crazy, because you wouldn't even think Herter would be the type of player to do something like that. But they definitely do need Kobe White, because you're right. A lot of the time the offense can get stagnant. You know what I'm saying? His shot is not the best, but it's pretty good. I feel like Giddey has been pretty well. This is honestly his best year ever in his career. He might even be a candidate for most improved. You never know.
Yeah, and I think, if he gets back soon enough, an all-star team could be on the table for him. Giddey especially, and of course, like you said, Kobe White's been out as well. Like getting these guys back sooner than later is going to be so important. It's just so tough because like we win so many games to start off the year, get on the right track, and then we get back to like reality so quick. Like we don't even get to sit at the top for a while.
It doesn't really bother me anymore because like it's Chicago, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be plenty of nights when can't no one make a shot. Also, we don't have any all-stars. Some people was like Vooch was never an all-star in his career. He was, but he's not. I don't think he's an all-star anymore. I don't really get my hopes up too much. It's probably why I don't be disappointed. I don't know. I still think it's kind of funny that DeMar left just to go play on a team that's even worse. Like, I know he's from California, bro. But it's like, I guess you just really wanted that $20 million, because you could have stayed in Chicago and probably got more wins than you're gonna get on that weak ass Kings team. I watched the Kings to see how bad that team really is. Garbage, bro.
I think everyone watches it just to see how.
And I'll save Westbrook for last because they be hyping him up because I'm like, bro, he can score a little 20 points, but that doesn't mean anything, bro.
Some of the players though on the team have been playing well. Like I think Dosunmu's it's been the best he's looked in years. Patrick Williams is frustrating, but it's a little bit less frustrating so far this season. Guys like Isaac Okoro coming in, and Trey Jones, especially Vucevic and Kobe White, but Josh Giddey. I feel like Josh Giddey, to me, like it really feels like he's not Luka Doncic, but he's like a Luka light. Like he's a light version. When they say, "Oh, we want Luka Doncic, we got Luka at home," that's Josh Giddey, and it's not like a stray necessarily because he's just not as good as him. But it's like he does all the things that Luka does, just at a lower capacity. The like stop and go motion, kind of a set shot. I think the passing, like he has that, just maybe not quite Luka. It's like everything's just a tier below, you know?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, Giddey's a point guard. You're definitely right. And I do see the comparatives to Luka. I can see the similarities, especially with the passing. Like, people don't give enough credit for Luka. So when people try to say, well, Luka shouldn't even play the point guard anymore, they need a real point guard. I'm like, bro, they have a real point guard. The roster is just weak. Other than that, I do agree with the Giddey comparison. He's nowhere near as a good shooter as Luka, but I can see your point, if you know what I mean.
Efficiency wise, I think I would say,
but Luka's not efficient either.
Yeah,
so.
That's what I would say. Like, they're on a similar tier there. I think Luka has more range though. Like, he'll pull from the logo. You don't see. Yeah. Granted, Giddey hit the half-court shot last season, but he's not doing that regularly, right? Like, that was just a once-in-a-blue moon type of thing. When we look at this team, is there anything that you think will be maybe like the key X factor for this team if they want to succeed or make a playoff push? Like, is it coaching? Is it a certain player? Is it health?
I think it really they just need Kobe White, bro. We gotta remember, bro, like, that's half of their offense right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of everyone who has the potential to be a star on the team, is probably Kobe, besides Giddey. Also, he scored 44 points last year, so he's a real bucket. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like once, like, that's the main reason why they're losing. They need a scorer desperately. If they're not fully healthy, which the last few seasons they've really struggled with, then that'll probably be the main reason why they can't make the playoffs. But honestly, I feel like they can still make the playoffs. Now they're 6-5, so they're pretty trash right now. So it's back to being the old school Bulls. But I don't know, it's a long season, but it's not looking good right now. So it's like I was getting all hyped. I feel like I was getting all hyped up for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like you said, it is a long season, so maybe there's more room to get hyped later on. But as you were saying, though, with Kobe White, I think people forget that Kobe White is a great 3-level scorer. Like, he can hit the three.
He can go from the basket.
Yeah, and he's a bigger guard. He can hit the mid-range. He's got a handle. So exactly what you were saying. I mean, this guy really was the first option on the team, in my opinion, just from watching it, especially when Zach LaVine got traded midway through last year. Like, it was Kobe White as the first option, and you don't have him, you don't have Giddey, you're probably losing like 35 to 40 points scored every game, actually probably like 45 to 50 points scored every game, and then Giddey probably gets you like 8 assists a game, like, so you're really losing like about 65 points that you normally get. So that puts a lot of pressure on Trey Jones, and it puts pressure on Vucevic to be like even doing more scoring. Like, without him, I mean, this team, they're probably looking at another play-in exit to the Miami Heat.
They don't even have, man, that shit is sad. They don't lose to Miami. Also, they don't have no big, like, besides Vooch, like Smith, he's okay. But, hey, bro, you got these big ass Coke bottle goggles on, and you still not really doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. That's why Giannis crushed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another thing, bro. If they can't beat Milwaukee, they won't get anywhere.
Exactly. That team just doesn't have the depth, even though I feel like a lot of their fans and stuff keep preaching it. Like, I don't think they're they don't have a well-oiled team from top to bottom. It's very top heavy.
Chicago, Milwaukee.
Like, who's better? I would think the Bulls, but I mean, the Bucks, I mean, they have Giannis.
Giannis is unstoppable, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, bro, like, and this is coming from someone who used to think Giannis was trash, bro. Like, man, all he do is run and dunk. I'm like, all right, bro, he's not the first big guy who can't really play flashy, so that's not really fair. They can't beat Milwaukee, it's over with, bro. You know what I'm saying? When they was in the playoffs against 22, that's the main reason why they lost. They too small.
I think too, and now I kind of want to get like your take on just what you think's gonna happen the rest of the year for the team, because right now I think they're sitting right around that 8-9 again for like the 4th straight year. It would be, where do you think they're gonna finish in the standings and also the playoffs if they make it there? Like, what will be their
I feel like they still know what they got to do. They know what they got to do to succeed. We had a lot of reality tests, like the first few wins we had the season were against weak ass teams besides Detroit. New York's not weak. Actually, yes they are. Mike Brown's not a good coach. But no, really, like, I could see them improving, bro. But at the same time, to be honest, Garrett, bro, like, it's like, come on, bro, like, it's Chicago. So if they trash again, or if they lose again to play-in, or if they don't even make the playoffs, I won't be surprised. But at this point, I can see them turn the season around. I have some faith in them, But like, they're not a contender, like, like their owner is Jerry Reinsdorf, So it's not like they're a contender or anything. It's not like they would go really far in the playoffs anyway. I mean, maybe they would. You never know. Look at Indiana.
Yeah, as a 4 seed.
Like, I generally do think that you're right. I think they will just be another play-in team. The play-in is technically the playoff.
It is.
So
Do you think they will make the playoffs through the play-in then? Because I know you kind of alluded to
I
that.
don't think they'll be in the play-in. I think they'll just make the playoffs.
Okay, so top
But at the
6
same
then?
time, I think they'll at least be a 6-seeded team.
Okay.
A 4th-seeded team would be beautiful. That would probably never happen though. I would love to go to a playoff Bulls game, but they suck. So, you know.
If you have them in the 6th seed, does that mean first round exit is probably what you're expecting then, or?
Yeah, bro. You know, but I feel I don't know, bro. Like them comebacks against Detroit and Philly, like that's crazy. And also, bro, I don't really feel like the media really gives Chicago any credit when they do play good. Like the
yeah,
you know, they don't get any nationally televised games. None of the ESPN, none of them really talked about the Bulls. And if they did, they just talked about how they don't think it's not gonna last long.
Yeah.
Chris, like, you know who Chris Move is?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So he does NBA recap videos. And the first Bulls video he made was when they lost. I'm like, bro, you didn't post about when they beat the Knicks though. You gonna post when the Knicks beat them. That's goofy shit, bro. But yeah, man, like I think they will make the playoffs, you know. But it's Chicago, so I won't be surprised if they don't.
I do think they'll make the playoffs. I think before the year I had them 8th. Then I was thinking, oh, maybe a 6-7 seeds in play the way they started the year. But now I'm kind of leaning more toward that 7-8 again, get through the play-in and then lose in the first round.
Yeah, when the season first started, bro, they was posting the starting lineup page. You know how most teams do that on Instagram. They post the starting lineup, and people were commenting like, "Are we even trying anymore?" I'm like, y'all ass. But yeah, I don't understand why Okoro is in the starting lineup. Like, why is he in the lineup, bro? I will do everything that he does just better.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm like, bro, like I never understood like when coaches do this, bro. What's the point of starting him if he only gonna play 15 minutes and then you just gonna have the bench guy play over him? Like, you could have just put him in. Like, all right, bro.
Pelicans did that the other day with Kevon Looney. He played like 5 minutes as a starter.
It's like, what's the point, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? You know, it's already bad enough that Giddey took half of his minutes. So, you know, there's that. And on top of that, you know, there's a lot of injuries. You know, Kobe White, you know what I'm saying? He's playing with the G League, so hopefully he's ramped up enough when he comes back.
Well, speaking of surprises, I kind of want to see how you surprise me with this next question here. I kind of want to know what's one player that maybe never played for the Chicago Bulls. It could be a current player, former player that you wish did.
I saw it a few days ago, but probably Anthony Davis. If not Anthony Davis, probably Kyrie Irving. But Chicago is not a free agent city. You know, It's expensive as hell. The weather sucks. The owner sucks. It's violent as hell. Whether people want to admit it or not. Like, I'm like, man, Chicago is busted, bro. Like, let's just be honest. It is, okay? Factor all that in, I don't be surprised when people don't come here.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of the last several years, that's why they really haven't, and it sucks. And albeit, I would like to have star recognition like AD on the Bulls. I wish he would have came here maybe a few more years ago. I feel like right now, I'm seeing a lot of Mavs fans, especially after the Nico Harrison thing. They're making these trade packages where they're like, oh, we won Vucevic and Kobe White and Buzelis and 3 picks. I'm like, dude,
I think Kobe would be good on Dallas, though.
He would, but as a Bulls fan, I'm like, that's too much to give up just because your ownership like was so bad and now you guys are in a hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I think Kyrie would be cool on the Bulls, you know, but like they don't play winning meaningful basketball, so it don't matter, you know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think for me, like one of the players that I was thinking of as well, it was about 15 years ago when, if you remember when Kobe requested a trade that middle of that 07-08 season and the Bulls were one of the teams.
I was gonna say that, like that was only star player who I can think of whoever wanted to go to Chicago was Kobe.
And the Luol Deng being a part of the trade was what really stalled it up. And following that year, assuming the Bulls still missed the playoffs, because he would have got traded there midway through a year, they were already kind of bad. They could have maybe still got the D Rose draft pick because it was really low odds anyways. So you get D Rose, Luol Deng, Kobe, and if they somehow find a way to not have to trade Joakim Noah, that's a crazy good team.
Yeah, man. Especially because Joakim was an MVP candidate in his prime.
And the Lakers,
which is crazy.
3 straight finals with Kobe the next 3 years. Derrick Rose, MVP the year right after that, and Joakim Noah, like you said, All NBA first team a couple years after that. That would have been a good 7-8 years as a Bulls fan.
Like we had Zach DeMar, but I feel like the last time they were really good was when Derrick Rose was there.
Yeah.
Like Zach, he wasn't an all-star when he was here. He became one. Like when I say a star, like someone who's like Kevin Durant, like Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox.
Like when Kawhi went to the Clippers or
Kyrie went to the Nets.
James Harden,
Or when James Harden went to the Clippers or the Sixers.
Like, I mean, and DeRozan maybe was like that, just maybe not.
Oh yeah, DeRozan, DeMar too.
But like we haven't had that in the last 10 years. Other than that, last one was probably Pau Gasol before that. So, and I mean,
I don't really consider that.
I mean, he was really good with.
You can blood, but to me, like, I never really was impressed with the Gasol brothers.
I don't know. I do think Pau was the better of the two. I will say that much.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like outside of Kobe, I've looked at his career. I'm like, outside of Kobe, bro, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with his brother. Really, his brother, because once he won the ring, he was out the league.
They definitely weren't number ones on like title teams, but I think as a number two, and especially on that Bulls team there, when you had Rose and then Jimmy and then Gasol, I mean, that's a good trio right there.
Yeah, I'm just talking shit, man. But yeah.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm here with my guy, one of my best collab partners, Gavin from NBA Real Talk. How's it going?
Great to be here, my man. Always a pleasure. Obviously, is a subject I have immense passion for and look forward to discussing with you here today.
We've done a couple things, talking about your very own Toronto Raptors. This one, is the main theme here today. I love, they got like the little sweatshirt thing there, long sleeve, the Vince Carter, the Fred VanVleet, all in all, and I'm pretty sure that's the jacket behind you, right?
Oh, it's the jacket, yeah.
The only thing he's missing is the hat, the panda?
Oh, it's here.
Oh, wow. Perfect timing. Was that scripted? You won't even know. But when we jump into, your Toronto Raptors, now that you got your good luck hat on, they've been playing, I would say, pretty decent. I know they started off kind of rough. I think like the first game or two looked pretty good. Went on a little slide. As of right now, 8-5 in the Eastern Conference, sitting in playoff positioning. I guess, how do you feel right now at this point in the season?
I think as a Raptors fan, the worst you can feel is satisfied. The best you could feel is elated. It goes without saying. It's way too early in the season to just predict, things are going to go the way they're going. Scotty's, 3-point shooting is insane. Middle of the pack, both offense and defense, which is solid. Their bench has been really surprised. I think the team is on Darko's identity. He's a battle kind of guy. There's no one star yet, even though it's probably Scotty, all things said, in the way he's playing right now. DI could take over. Emmanuel quickly he's streaky as can be, so he could just off for 30 or 40. Then you got RJ, who's a pretty reliable third scorer. There's only really two crazy teams in like the Knicks and Cavs. The Knicks and the Cavs. Like the rest is like, obviously, Giannis and the Bucks, you never count them out. Miami Heat, you never know exactly what they're going to do, no matter how they're looking, because they can make trades at the deadline depending on how they're doing. The Raps can finish anywhere from like top 3 to a play-in team.
I think exactly what you're saying. The worst you could be is maybe satisfied, just because I think Scotty Barnes is like the key player on the team. Like he's the key cornerstone. But some games Brandon Ingram might be the best player. And then I think last year was good for guys like RJ Barrett and Grady Dick, especially, just because like that helped them really assert themselves more in the rotation and be like, okay, I belong here. And even someone like Grady Dick hasn't played like a whole lot this season. He's still in the rotation as a guy that's like, okay, if you need him to get 20, he probably could off the bench. And then guys like Amu Kelishvili, got the name there, but Jamal Shed, these guys, Colin Murray Boyles, like these are young guys who are really going to help jumpstart like the next wave of the Raptors, because last season it looked like things were, probably looking at another year of like just a pure rebuild, just going to be a pure trash throwaway season, but now you put everybody together, people are healthy, been playing pretty good.
This is a team that could be a second round exit if they had a great season, right down to maybe like a play-in / just playoff team that got to start small with the building blocks. We're kind of coming back as a franchise, so making the playoffs has got to be considered a pretty big victory this year.
Yeah, I can see it, and we'll definitely, get into that firm line prediction of it. But I guess, like, what do you think is kind of the X factor, the biggest thing that will help Toronto reach the heights that they want to reach, in your opinion?
Bench obviously is a huge one, because them playing the way they've been playing is one of the main reasons we are where we're at. Those two players, in terms of like, you got Quickly with his streakiness, you got Ingram with that whole like can he become, let's just say, a guy who averages 3 more points a game on the same or slightly better efficiency? He's pretty efficient, but you know what I mean? He's such a talented player. You see the way this guy works in the mid-range. You're like, it's just like, you feel like you're in the 90s again. You know, there's something so beautiful to watch when you see a guy just hitting a jumper a few feet inside the arc, when turnaround jumpers and stuff like that. And you see so many flashes from that. You're like, he could become like a superstar out there. So it's like, could he just peak a little late in his career and give us like a 26 to 28 point per game season? If he gets up to that level, and if guys like quickly can stay consistent, because he's just historically streaky. He started the year pretty streaky. He was turning over the ball so much, consistent with his scoring and his playmaking. That might be something you live with. Kind of like something we were looking for from Norman Powell for a few years ago. Like, if he could become that guy where we know we can rely on him for that, whatever it would be, maybe 18 a night, something like that, taking us to another level.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that, you mentioned quickly and just like his, I guess, inconsistencies that as a D Rose fan, I definitely saw a lot of in New York when he shared the court with him and stuff like that. And of course, now he's been in the league for a couple years that you're hoping he can get over that hump. Another guy that I'm a big fan of that you probably know is, Donovan Mitchell. And, I think early on in his career, not that he was inefficient or anything, like his efficiency was okay. It was passable, but you would have liked him to be maybe more efficient. And I would say, like, right now this year, someone like Donovan Mitchell he has like insane efficiency. He's shooting like over 50% from the field, 40% from 3. And I'm not saying quickly needs to do that, but you see that curve come around, like maybe around the time that a player like Donovan Mitchell got to Cleveland, which was his 6th season. And right now this is Immanuel Quickley's 6th season. Whether it's this year or next year, like, he's on the cusp of doing that. And then the same thing that you mentioned with Brandon Ingram, it's just like playing in a different environment, because I'm not gonna lie, there is such thing as like tanking syndrome, where you just play on a team that absolutely sucks and then you just don't know how to get back to the right mindset. I think you're seeing someone like Cam Johnson go through that right now, because his shooting splits aren't really good in Denver, even though they're winning. Like, he was so efficient and averaging like the most points in Brooklyn, comes over to Denver and it's just, you haven't seen that yet. Brandon Ingram, I feel like he's played pretty well in doing so right now, and it's just like not buying into maybe bad habits of the past.
Yeah, no, he's that guy where it's just what you see in his game that you're like, you just see it the way he plays. You're like, if this guy can just take that one notch, how do you stop that? Like, he can't reach it. The way he's got the release of the shot and stuff. 3 X factors, those 2 in the bench. I'd say even those 2 before the bench, despite the fact that it's what's keeping us in it right now.
Is it crazy to say, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, because I think he's a better 3-point shooter than him. You mentioned like an old school 90s player from the mid-range, like Brandon Ingram to Reggie Lewis, for instance, like a little comparisons there.
You could, but to be honest, I actually feel like when DeMar DeRozan was looking at his best.
Yeah.
Like the type of that's like the spinner, the sort of couple dribbles in from the 3 spinner, it's kind of a fadeaway, but it's drifting. I just see a lot of DeMar DeRozan type stuff, under 30% from 3, I know that. But it's like, it doesn't matter because he's shooting like 55 or almost 60% from, his area of operation.
That's why I say, like, he could be the number 1 option, could be Scotty Barnes. It still could even be RJ Barrett, because last year I would say it was RJ Barrett because Scotty missed so much time. Nice when you have like 3 options there. When the playoffs come around, assuming if like the Raptors get there, that's going to be like the biggest question, is like who's going to get like the shots at the end of the game, who's going to get the offense ran through them. And even though I think Scotty Barnes is probably still the best player on this team, I think maybe that might be Brandon Ingram down the stretch of games.
Yeah, no, I think we've got a lineup where we can have a lot of interchangeable, won't say top 10, but top player in the league type, caliber guys. I think we have 4, maybe even 5 guys averaging around 15 points or more. I don't know if it's appropriate to say in basketball, call it a spread offense, but you know what I mean? Like, we just seem like we're playing a lot like a team that's still kind of finding a way to learn, but also our defense is solid. You've got a bunch of young guys in there, and you're at least middle of the pack defensively. I think you're doing something right. One thing you're going to learn from mistakes from, it's defense. And we got Scotty Barnes averaging like 1.5 or almost 2 blocks a a game. I think that was our identity when we won a championship with a completely different group of guys. It was actually on the defensive end. And it looks like they're just throwing together another batch of guys who really know how to hound the ball.
We'll have to see what you guys have in store, and that's why it brings me to this next question. Kind of tell me where you expect this Raptors team to finish in the standings this year, and then in the playoffs, like assuming they make it.
Based on how they're doing right now, I could see them finishing between 4th and 7th, so I'm going to put them at 5th.
Okay.
I think they'll finish in the Eastern Conference, just because I think there's no denying, as great as they've played lately and what they've showcased, like their stats are not maintainable on any level. You know what I mean? It's early in the season and guys are on fire. If they win 15 more games than they lose, that would be a very good season, I think. Honestly, I don't see myself as a pessimist generally, but just with all the heartbreak that I've experienced in sports, that we've all experienced in sports, I kind of see them as a 500 team just because of where their team is at, like mentally. They're young, they got this hungry coach. And honestly, I think a 500 season that was somewhere around the plane where even we didn't get into the playoffs, I don't think that would be a failure of the season, but I think it's a great season if we make the playoffs. I think it's a phenomenal season if we get to the second round. And that's where I think we'll be. I think we'll be a first round exit, but potentially round, depending on who we match up with in the first round. So my expectation is making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's probably the likeliest scenario with them losing in the first round. 5th seed, I think that, me personally, I think that they are looking like a playoff team, and they should definitely be in someone's top 8, even over my own Chicago Bulls, who started off the season so well, winning the first 5 games. But yeah, I think that you guys definitely look like a playoff team. Everything you said too, like it's not like they're doing something like absurd. Not to throw shade at the Lakers, for instance, but like early on in the season when you saw like Luka averaging like almost a 40-point triple-double and Austin Reeves averaging 31 and like DeAndre Ayton's averaging like 22 and 11, like okay, that's not all gonna stay put, especially when like Luka and Austin Reeves are getting 25 free throw attempts a game together. Like it's not gonna happen the whole course of the season. I mean, the Raptors stuff, it's not like their stats are like anything too crazy, and some of these guys have even shown to do more. Like I bring up Grady Dick again just because it's like this guy averaged like almost 20 points a game most of last season, so it's like he could do this, and right now he's just kind of been the 8th, 9th man in a lot of these games, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
I forgot to mention that actually, is that Grady Dick, sometimes you're like start looking for him in the highlights, he's not on the court, he seems a little bit MIA, but I mean, he's a shooter, and he's still young, and sometimes there's some figuring out with all that. I still have faith and glad to bring him off the bench, and hopefully he still has a good season.
Well, hopefully the Raptors can find Dick soon. No, that's it's a little crazy.
Hopefully Dick can find his stroke.
One more thing that we should do before we get to the mini game. One player that you wish played for your Toronto Raptors that never has or never did.
It's a tie. Probably Giannis. I say either Giannis or Damian Lillard, a few years back. But Giannis, just because, our team, at least under Ujiri, who's now, no longer running the show, but especially Canada, because the thing is, the whole thing with Canada is it's like we're kind of like USA light, right? Like we're not as good, we're not, as cool, we're not as much fun, but we're like we have all the same stuff that makes it good and fun. Like we're the jungle gym, you guys are the actual thing you see in Toy Story, the arcade. We're big on international stuff, and Ujiri really wanted Giannis, and that relationship was there. Players like that are just more likely to want to stay long term because they get more of a taste of home maybe in Canada. Not that we're anything like where they're from, but and not that the US isn't equally or more multicultural, but I think you know what I mean. Like with Toronto being our only basketball city, it's one of the most international. It's like the same thing as a New York in the US, or a market that's just full of all kinds of different types of people. I think Giannis just could have been, the greatest Raptor of all time.
Giannis too would definitely fit into everything the Raptors are all about, especially in this recent era. That's the kind of guy that you want to surround your team with, someone who can be a force, maybe inside the 3-point line, dominant, killing you from like one specific area, because for a while it was DeRozan in the mid-range, Kawhi in the mid-range even, and then you have Giannis who, I would say a player like Scotty Barnes is kind of like a player of the same mold as Giannis, so you get a guy like that, like maybe even a little bit earlier, could be like the perfect player to pair with him. Who's going to stop him down low? You already got to throw like a whole team, a wall at Giannis, so what's that going to mean for for Scotty Barnes. Like, he might be averaging like 5 more points a game.
He's not there to like shake your hand and hug you. He's there to compete. Like he's a dog, you know what I mean? And actually, frankly, I think he'd fit into our current roster. We're a pack of wolves, you know what I mean?
There's a lot to be excited about, and the results would show on a team like that for him as well. One player, I guess I will say, think back to 2004, 2005. You know, that was the year you guys ended up trading Vince Carter, and you know, you still had a young Chris Bosh on the team. Dudes like Jalen Rose and Skip to My Lou, Mo Pete. I think that was the year Daniel Marshall tied Kobe for the 3-point record. I don't know how the salary cap would have worked, but I do know there was a special free agent in 2004. In fact, it was the guy who less than a year after that won the league MVP, and he's from Canada. Imagine Steve Nash on that Toronto Raptors team. I don't know. That would be pretty insane. Maybe it keeps Vince Carter in Toronto a little longer.
Especially because like the Raptors more than once went after him.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seemed like too much of an obvious fan.
Mm-hmm. I remember too, like, I think the Raptors, if I'm not mistaken, like after the 2012 summer, like when he went to sign with the Lakers, like the Raptors were a serious contender, and Nash was thinking about that too. I guess if it was then, it would have been kind of cool, but then who's to say if in 2012, if you guys get Steve Nash, maybe you don't get Kyle Lowry around that same time. So, and that was obviously huge for you guys to win a championship. You even call him the greatest Raptor ever.
Absolutely. There's no denying he's the greatest Raptor of all.
Me personally, I would disagree, but you are the Raptors fan, so
Vince?
Even though it was 1 year, Kawhi, yeah.
I can respect him. In many ways, he was the greatest Raptor of all time, not in an all-encompassing
If
way.
it was a team like the Bulls or the Lakers that had won before, maybe made some finals, then it's like, okay, yeah. But, I mean, the first ever finals, and granted, yes, Kyle Lowry made it there and he played multiple years there, but I just don't know if that was all possible without number 2.
Don't get me wrong, what he did was so amazing for us. But instead of it being like a true carry job, even though he totally carried us at times, it was more of a final piece.
The one thing about him that you've seen throughout the course of his career is he's just one of the best, like, ceiling raisers, as people call it, because, like, he's been on some teams that definitely have some talent. The Raptors made playoffs year after year with DeRozan and Lowry. Spurs, when he got drafted to them, they were a number 1 seed, but, you know, they were starting to show their age a little bit. If you remember, they lost to the Grizzlies as an 8th seed, and people were saying, is Duncan going to retire? Kawhi comes in and extends their shelf life to 2 more finals and another title. And then I would even say the Clippers right now, like, yeah, like they look pretty bad, but when Kawhi's not playing, they are pretty lost. There's literally no chance. But when he's out there, he's in conversation for like the best player in the world because of everything he can do.
He's yeah, that was a good description. He's the ultimate compliment ceiling raiser.
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm here with my guy, Nate. Some even call him NateThaGreat. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm here with my guy, Joey from the Run in the Paint podcast. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. One of my guys here with me, Hoopsnmma. How's it going?
It's peachy. We're peachy today, man.
It's great to have you back on the show. This is kind of a favorite team spotlight episode, really. Your team, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I had some of your podcast mates on a couple episodes ago. So glad that we can have you on the show here today. We're going to be talking a little bit about favorite teams, and with yours being the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are one of the guests I wanted to get on today. You and a bunch of other guys in the community talking about their favorite team. Your team being, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're 1 month through with this team. Has it lived up to expectations? Disappointment? Like, what do you think?
I have mixed feelings about it so far. It's been rather disappointing. We're not horrible. There's some parts that I'm happy about. I think our defense in some ways is better now that we have Lonzo Ball. After last night's game, I don't have a ton of positive things to say about them. But the bright side is it's November. Still a lot of games left where they can turn it around. So as of right now, we do not look like championship contenders.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So.
And just so even the viewers know, like when you're referring to that last night game, it was the Raptors-Cavs game, which is crazy that it's already 2 losses for you guys against the Raptors. Yes, there are some new pieces on the team, and of course people have not been fully healthy. Jared Allen has missed time, Darius Garland's missed time, so that is one way to look at it, but it just feels like there's some of these games like they really should have won. Ultimately, the biggest thing is having consistency down the stretch of the season. I think you guys had a great start, and then in the back half of the season was where like it was kind of up and down. So there is a lot of season left. It comes down to like I think Garland and Jared Allen like just being in and out of the lineup, and now Garland's like out again like the other night. So what's gonna really happen with that? That's the thing for me.
Yeah, health is a pretty big issue with this team. I mean, without Garland, I don't think we can go for probably another second round exit. Jared Allen, they've been benching him a lot in the fourth, and it's kind of confusing. I know, like, there's a narrative that he's soft and stuff, and sometimes I feel like he is a little bit soft, but I think that's just on Kenny not playing him in the fourth, because the last few games, he's been pretty good, especially against the Heat. He had like 30 and 10. That's a little bit confusing to me.
The other thing too, I remember one of the commentators said this like a couple years ago. Of course, Jared Allen was an all-star, and then Evan Mobley comes into his own, and he's willing to take that back seat. And that is the one thing I will say is good. I feel like, Evan Mobley, I don't think he's quite offensively what maybe people are hoping. Like he could be like the next two-way superstar, but I think he has shown improvement on that side, that he could be that reliable second option to Donovan Mitchell. Like, can Garland fill in as like that primary playmaker? And of course there's guys on the bench that are missing. Like I think Larry Nance Jr.'s missed a couple games. Of course Max Strus, it seems like he started the last 3 seasons injured. Lonzo has been helping you guys though. I mean, you're welcome for that as a Bulls fan. but
thank you.
Yeah.
I love Lonzo Ball, man. He's great. So I think you got us back.
Hey, well, you're welcome, I guess. I mean, Isaac Okoro hasn't been too bad for us, though, I will say. But, I mean, it does kind of suck because we had Lonzo for so long and we waited that out. But the first month of the year, it could still even be better. I do agree, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are overreacting to it, including myself. I was very pissed off yesterday. I even told, like, I don't even know do the podcast tomorrow. Like, I gotta see some positive results before. But, yeah, I mean, it's good to be honest about the team. It's very early. It's really too early to tell. As long as we're healthy, man, I think we've got a fighter's punch for sure.
How would you kind of assess this first month for the Cavaliers?
Well, when you look at it on paper, it's not too bad, especially with the injuries we've been dealing with. Garland just re-aggravated his injury, so we're not super fully healthy yet, and we lost a lot of assistant coaches over the offseason. A lot of change that we haven't had the last couple of years. I'm pretty nitpicky, so I'm seeing things that like very little worrisome, but I think we're going to be all right. I think it's a solid start.
If those guys are playing, maybe you guys are like at the very worst, like maybe 10-3, which is maybe a different story. But I do think that there have been a little bit of things maybe to be a little concerned about. Defensively, maybe just the team looks a little bit, how should I say, a little bit lost from previous years. I think just like having the guy like in the locker room who can really spark the team, it felt like a lot of times maybe last year, of course, like Max Strus, who's been injured right now, and then sometimes it was Tristan Thompson, and I would even say it was Ty Jerome sometimes even, and you guys lost him. So just trying to find where that's going to be. I know Donovan Mitchell's going to do that, but I think you just got to have a few more guys who can provide that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Defense has been one of the things that I've been looking at that I'm just like, man, we are late on rotations. We're looking lazy. We're giving up hella offensive rebounds because we're not hustling to like long balls and stuff like that. Our rebounding has also been an issue in my opinion. Like based off of the last game, like it was off of a back-to-back. We didn't play like 4 of our guys, like Donovan Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Tyson maybe. I think we're the only ones that didn't play the last Wednesday game against the Heat that we won. But the next game, Allen and Mobley, neither of them were effective at all. Like, neither of them had 10 points. Neither of them had 10 rebounds. Like, defense and rebounding is the big things that that's the worrisome part. And especially like if I said I was going to be nitpicky, those are the ones that I'm like, man, we really need to lock in on those. And I think a guy like you were saying, like someone else in the locker, like it's great to have your superstar being your leader, like a Donovan Mitchell, but it's great to have that other one, like a veteran, like a Tristan Thompson, someone like that, who's been around that culture before and can kind of set it and keep people kind of hyped and bought in.
For one, that's a good point that you bring up with the rebounding, because I know it's been a little bit skeptical at times of some of the games. So it's like even the offense sometimes like maybe looks a little bit askew just because scoring baskets and like finding players that can make it work, but just off of raw talent. Like I feel like in previous years, especially last year when you guys started off so well, it was about like, okay, no matter what, we're gonna find the mismatch. If Mobley has like a smaller guy on him, or if Donovan Mitchell has like a big on him and he can drive by him or something. Like kind of just those mismatches they took advantage of every time. I feel like they haven't done it as much this year. So that's kind of like just a big thing. What are your thoughts on this team?
My thoughts are that we can win the NBA title. We've smacked up the Heat, who've been a good team, but without like any of our three best players. I love what I'm seeing from the Cavs so far, personally. I think right now, obviously, the Pistons are just looking ridiculous right now out of the East, but yeah. I think we're the favorites out of the East. So I think we still should be.
Oh, I definitely agree. I would say coming into the year, you guys should have been the favorites. Right now, you guys are sitting in that second seed, and just because Detroit has a couple wins on you guys doesn't really mean much of anything. Yeah, the Cavs maybe haven't proved it, as some people say, but Detroit has now won a playoff series and who knows how long. Like, literally since, I'm pretty sure, 2008. You know, the Knicks, like, yeah, new coach, though. They've also had their own struggles. Every other team, like, they just haven't really had that same consistency of making the playoffs year after year. So it's really wide open. I feel like the Cavs are that team to go there, but it seems like Evan Mobley's a little bit more confident this year. Some of the bench guys seems like they're starting to find their groove, mostly just like with Garland missing time so far this year, and then Allen's missed a couple games. I think those are the biggest things.
Yeah, and I mean, like, but this is what I like is that what's now happening with Garland out is we're trying these lineups, because these might be this might be decisions we have to make when we're in the finals, when it's like, oh my God, we have two guards who can't guard. Like, we might have to put Lonzo Ball or Jalen Tyson out there to close. That's just realistic. Like, that's just sometimes the situation you're in. There's situations that those Trailblazers teams never had to make because they were never good enough with Dame and CJ, but those are decisions that kind of have to be made sometime. Like, wow, we need to guard, so I'm going to have to put Lonzo Ball on the floor, who's been amazing. Lonzo Ball has been so good. The extra passing is so good. You know, the transition play is so good. Like, he adds so much.
I've always said he's definitely a winning player. He just hasn't been in all the winning environments. Now he finally is in one in Cleveland. I think that assuming he's healthy, he's going to be one of those guys that I think probably should close out games at the end of, you know, playoff games especially. You know, I kind of want to know what you think is going to really make or break this team.
I would say for sure first would be health and also probably coaching. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Kenny might just be experimenting right now, but some of his coaching decisions are questionable to me. If he is experimenting, that would make sense, I guess. I mean, we're not fully healthy, so it's kind of hard. But I don't know. So I would say for sure health is the number one thing. If we're not healthy, especially any of our core four, really, if we're not healthy, then I don't think we have a chance.
Especially last year. I mean, of course, Garland missed some games in that Pacers series. Mobley missed a game. You could argue if everyone was fully healthy and playing like 100%, like, you guys win that. And I mean, the Pacers got one win away from it all. So, like, who knows what happens. I do think that's definitely the first thing. And then the coaching thing, I won't say like Kenny Atkinson is a bad coach by any means. I just think sometimes the one thing that, not to mention the former coach, JB Bickerstaff, but of course right now, like, the Pistons are number one, but just to bring him up, I don't think he was a great coach. I think that Kenny Atkinson is better in terms of the schemes, but the one thing JB Bickerstaff did, I think, a little bit better was maybe he held the players more accountable. Like, he wasn't afraid to rip into them if it was like something bad going wrong. I feel like Kenny Atkinson sometimes is a little bit too buddy-buddy with people, and one of the other coaches that does that a lot, I feel like, is Ty Lue on the Clippers, and I criticize him a lot for it because he just kind of sits back and like lets it go. Like, you know, you just don't see that from him enough. So maybe that's what they need to give him that spark, because I know Donovan Mitchell's usually the one who does it for the team, but he's also the one who's like scoring the most points and really doing the most out there on a nightly basis. It's like, who's gonna come with me?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Tristan Thompson kind of helped out with that last year. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's like an enforcer, but he's definitely talks a lot of crap. So maybe they're missing out a little bit this year. Maybe Bickerstaff, definitely, I felt like he would get the guys to buy in more defensively, and I'm pretty sure we were the number one defense, or if not top three. So
even Ty Jerome, who you guys lost, like, he was kind of like a fireball in a sense. Like, he wouldn't be afraid to go up to people and talk some smack. Like, I think they need a little bit more of that spark.
Yeah, they do. I hope they can find it somehow, man.
When you mentioned the rebounding, like, would you say that's kind of the thing that'll maybe make or break this team the most if they want to achieve their expectations? Or is it like a certain player being that X factor, or is it the coaching? Like, what would you say?
I've heard some rumors about people talking about the coaching. I don't think that's the issue. It's a lot of hustle and effort, because like I've seen
Jared Allen, he's been pretty disappointing, at least to me. Like, he had the great game when everyone sat and he had 30 and 10. But then the next game he had, obviously it was a back-to-back, so he was probably exhausted. Next game, he only had like 6 points and like 7 rebounds. And he only played 21 minutes. Again, that could be on coaching because Naquan Tomlin had 22 minutes and he's not... Jared Allen shouldn't get outplayed by someone who's on a two-way contract with the Cleveland Charge. Like, that should not be a thing. I don't know what really has to change. I'd just be more assertive and all that kind of stuff. Mobley didn't have that great of a game. Again, he's just a little inconsistent. I feel, my X factor as well, just because he made such a jump last year, and I'm still expecting another jump. He could be such a force on offense, too. And on defense. He's already obviously reigning defensive player of the year, so he's already a force on defense, elite. But him on offense, he can be that kind of guy.
I do think he's made strides, at least this year. He looks a little bit more comfortable with his jump shot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it just, as long as it's like not like anything forced, because, you know, Mobley, while he has developed more of an offensive game, I do think that sometimes when he dribbles the ball, and just because naturally his movements are a little bit slower than maybe a guard, like, it's very prone for, like, you know, double teams could collapse. And then if that happens, like, you got to develop, like, being a passer out of it. Jokic is, of course, really good at it. And I know that was a problem with Joel Embiid for a while. And then the year he won MVP, that was really probably a turning point that made him win an MVP, because he was actually really good at kicking out of those double teams. So I think if Mobley can, like, you know, get better at that, it's going to make things a lot better. It's going to open up 3-point opportunities for the Cavs, or one of the best 3-point shooting teams last season too. And then just the other thing you said with Jared Allen, like, yeah, I definitely agree. He shouldn't be getting outplayed, you know, by a two-way contract guy, for one. And also, it's just, it feels like some of the fourth quarters, like, he's just really not getting that playing time, you know, and it's kind of weird.
That's the real concerning part, is about the fourth, in like the fourth quarter. It's like, you want your two big guys out there, especially if you're getting out rebounded and like outplayed and out hustled and stuff. You want your big guys. You want your big guys out there. I'm a little more patient with the offense, just because when we do have Darius Garland out there, at least throughout this season so far, in the couple games we have, we've scored like 130 to 140. Like, our offense looks fantastic when he's out there. The movement, everyone's getting involved. Jared Allen's getting more involved. It's just another creator, instead of just Donovan Mitchell trying to create everything and trying to get the bigs open, or just trying to force feed the bigs. Having just another guy like Garland out there, healthy, just creating, and just another threat, opens up everything. Once he's healthy, I think everything else will open up, at least on the offensive end. That's why my more worries are on the defense and rebounding.
I think even for that reason too, Darius Garland is an X factor as well, because he needs to, you know, be healthy. Last year in the playoffs, he wasn't healthy. I think he got you guys off on the wrong footing against Indiana, and then just wasn't able to be overcame. And really, he came back too early anyways, so he wasn't even playing his full self. Like, when he was healthy last season, in the regular season, you guys were almost like invincible, it felt like, you know?
100%. It's a big love-hate relationship with Garland for me, just because when he is out there and our team looks, like you said, invincible, but he's been so hurt, and it seems like he's made of glass sometimes, where he just can't be on the court, especially in the playoffs when we really need him the most.
Exactly. It's kind of the big X factor, in your opinion, with this Cavs team right now, for them to reach the heights they want to.
Well, I think the obvious one is Evan Mobley's catch and shoot shooting. Is he going to be able to knock down threes in the corner? Trust Max Strus. I trust these types of guys around us. I trust DeAndre Hunter to hit threes. But am I going to trust Evan Mobley to hit those shots when he's off the ball? And that's what we're going to need. You know, Jared Allen is going to paint rim. You know, he's going to be setting screens. He's going to be rolling downhill. That's a consistent job. But it's, at the end of the day, that's the X factor, is Evan Mobley's outside shooting.
I think that, accompanied with, of course, Garland's health, because last year, really both those guys missed a game or two. Evan Mobley missed, I think, game 2. Garland missed game 1 and 2 in that Indiana series, and it got you guys down 0-2, and those were probably winnable games. Both those games Cleveland had control over for parts of it, mostly game 2, but game 1 still, it wasn't like out of reach or anything. Health too, along with that, and then with Darius Garland, you know, one of the biggest reasons you guys started 15-0 last year is he had so much confidence. It looked like really the best version of Darius Garland I've seen. I know he was an all-star, maybe put up better numbers, you could say, is like a couple years ago in 2022. I really feel like last season prior to that, he looked like the best he had ever been. And he looked as confident as he'd ever been. So if he can get back to that, and he doesn't even need to do all the scoring because Donovan Mitchell's averaging 30 and, Evan Mobley's, right around 20. And if Jared Allen can give you what he gives you, and Tyson and Merrill and, these other guys are stepping up as well. Like, he doesn't even need to give you 20 points a game, but just that playmaking, I think, is so huge.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Garland's health is incredibly important. I was sleeping on that for sure. But at the end of the day, like I was just saying, I think he might not be closed games for us, if he's not playing well. So I think, and I'm not worried about his health right now. Like, that's just not something I'm worried about right now. Like, I'm worried about how our offense looks at the end of games when we are fully healthy.
Yeah, because of course at this point last year, you guys had not lost the game, and we know how it ended. So right now, it's like it is a really weird time where it's like it feels disingenuous to say like none of this matters right now, but it really, to a degree, doesn't. Until we see how it goes.
100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm saying it doesn't matter.
And I feel what you mean exactly. As we're moving on the rest of the season with your Cavs, do you think they're going to finish in the standings and then their playoff finish wholeheartedly? Like, what do you think will happen?
Okay. Top 3 seed, that could be 3, 2, or 1 in my opinion. I don't really see them finishing lower than 3. It's possible. Then for the playoffs, if I'm gonna be honest, as of right now, I would say it would be the Knicks versus Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, and unfortunately, I have the Knicks.
Okay, I think that's a fair take. I mean, especially before the season, the Cavs and Knicks had the highest odds, both to get to the conference finals. So I still even the Knicks, they've played better recently, but they've also had their downs so far this season. So it is tough to fully buy in. I do think that this team has a perfect opportunity ahead of them to get at least to the finals. The other side of it, OKC looks great. Denver looks like they're doing really good, even despite adding new pieces. So it's going to be hard to pick them to win it all right now. But I think that a finals path is open, that I think they could get there. Seeding wise, though, I do agree. It seems like we're both on the same wavelength that they're probably not going to be the 1 seed this year, but a top 3 seed, maybe that 2 or 3 spot, I think is most likely.
Yeah, and I would be completely fine with. I'm not really bought into the regular season success after last year. I don't care about being the 1 seed as much.
For sure.
Home court would be nice, though.
Yeah, you definitely, and that's why I think 2 is so huge, because then you can at least get home court for back-to-back series. And maybe if that 1 seed is a team like Detroit, has a little less experience, the players are going to be fired up to play JB Bickerstaff's team. That might be the best case scenario. That's going to bring me to the big question really here, which is, where do you think the Cavs are going to finish in the standings, and then in the playoffs, what will be the result?
I'll be honest, with the way in some of our group chats with the Run in the Paint pod guys, I've been going off on the Cavs, especially after the last games. I'm saying, if we play like this, we ain't making it out of the first round. But I truly don't think that's going to happen. I think we still can finish top 2. Pistons have been unbelievable so far, so they just won last night as well, so they're 9 in a row when they didn't even play 4 other guys, so they're surprising me. The Knicks are still great. The Knicks are just the one team that concerns me when it comes to the playoffs, though, just because if they do have Mitchell Robinson and Cat healthy, and they have their team healthy, and they play us, even if we're healthy, the rebounding, man, Cat and Mitchell Robinson will dominate Evan Mobley and Jared Allen if they don't get their crap together and start hustling and locking in on that, because we saw it a couple years ago when we had JB Bickerstaff as the coach. Jared Allen and Mobley got destroyed by Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle. I don't want to see that again, but that's a very real possibility. Even though the Pistons are great, I still do think it'll come down to the Knicks and the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. My prediction in the beginning of the season was Nuggets-Cavs Finals. I'll stick with that.
Yeah, maybe the Cavs don't have a whole lot of playoff winning experience with this core, but really, what do the Pistons have? They just made the playoffs for the first time last year in a long time. So I do think that the Cavs would feel good going into a playoff series against them as well. The Knicks are going to be the toughest out probably in the East, but even then, I still think that if the Cavs are healthy, which, it's definitely a big if, because the last couple of years, Darius Garland last year and Mobley the 1 game, and then the year before that, Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen both missed games. So it's if the core four can be healthy, I think that they will beat the Knicks. And then the finals, it gets a little dicey because you mentioned Denver. That's who I had at the beginning of the year. Whether it's them or whether it's OKC or something, like it is kind of hard right now for me to fully think that the Cavs would beat them. But I think that a final path, like this is probably about like as good of an opportunity to do it.
Especially with the Cavs being in like the second apron and all that kind of stuff. We don't really have many more options. Like if this kind of doesn't work and we don't really get to the finals, you might see a lot of changes, I think, come next off season and the next year.
Where do you think this team is going to finish in the standings and then also in the playoffs? What do you think?
You know, I think I'm gonna take them not to win the championship, but I'm gonna take them to come out of the East. I don't know about Detroit. I just don't know about. I think some of these things are clicking for some of these players, like Denise Jenkins. Like this is a guy who is he going to be able to play in a deep playoff run? Like I don't know. I'm not sure about this guy. He popped out of nowhere.
No, he did kind of pop out of nowhere, and it makes the Pistons a little bit of a weird team. But when it comes to in the standings, you said what they'd be? Where would they finish then, seating wise?
The Cavs right now are second in the standings.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. This is how wide open the East is. Like I don't love the way Detroit looks, but it's like they could definitely do it. I guess I'm just so confident in the Cavs, and I like the Cavs so much that it's like it looks so easy. I mean, look the freaking Raptors are looking like they're going to be a playoff team in this conference. So
third right now.
Yeah, they're third, right? That's crazy.
Kind of want to know one player ever that never played for the Cleveland Cavaliers that maybe you're like, I wish they did, or it would have been cool if they did.
So, have I told you? I used to be a Sonics fan. I'm from Seattle. So.
Really? I don't think I knew that. No.
Yeah. So I just started liking the Cavs like since Mitchell got traded there. So I'm not like a Cav for lifer, but I really like, and I even liked them when LeBron was there. They weren't like my favorite team or anything, but so I guess it would have been cool to see like maybe like Ray Allen, because he was like my favorite Sonics player.
Yeah, that is a really good. And do you say that like during the LeBron like first Cleveland era then probably, or?
Yeah, pretty much right after. Yeah,
you'd have like LeBron, Ray Allen, like what Big Z, Mo Williams, like I don't know, especially the year that they played the Spurs in the finals. Like that would have been interesting because a lot of those games, even though they got swept, like I think they lost every game by single digits, so could change the whole series.
Yeah, and Ray Allen was very good that year. So.
Yeah, especially and two, I think at that time as well. I know people remember Ray Allen for his shooting, but I feel like people forget that he was an athlete, especially then as well. So like he had kind of the best of both worlds going on. One player I guess I will say, because I know there were rumors about it maybe happening when LeBron left Cleveland to Miami. There was rumors that potentially Cleveland was going to trade for Amari Stoudemire in that same offseason. So I mean, LeBron with Amari Stoudemire. Like, in my opinion, I think Stoudemire's best single season was his first year with the Knicks. So I would have liked to see how that 2011 season turned out with those two together, if LeBron stayed, of course.
Stoudemire was a monster. He was crazy. Yeah. So is that who would you want on the Bulls though?
On the Bulls, see, I think the perfect scenario for what I would want for the Bulls, it goes back to 2007, 2008, when we had a chance to trade for Kobe Bryant. And the only reason we couldn't is because the Lakers wanted Luol Deng and Kobe said, no, I want to play with Luol Deng. So if we could have kept Luol Deng and Kobe, I don't care like what else we need to move or anything like that. And also our pick, like we probably still don't make the playoffs like we did that year. We had a very low chance at the first pick. So I still think it's in play that we could get this guy back here as well, Derrick Rose in the draft. So you go with D Rose, Kobe, and Luol Deng together. That's a crazy trio.
That is disgusting. They would have for sure won that shit for two.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if we could have held on to Joakim Noah, but if we could as well with that, I mean, that's just perfect.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Can't go wrong with Kobe Bryant.
It's tough. I know Kobe was interested. I think the Bulls and Pistons he was thinking about like at that time. And then ultimately the Lakers traded for Pau Gasol and he stayed, and we know what happened. But one player that you wish played for the Cleveland Cavaliers that never has.
That's a tough question because I do have a lot of favorite players. One that's probably on one of my favorite Western teams is the Sacramento Kings. I absolutely love DeMar DeRozan. Always have when he was in Toronto. Loved him in San Antonio. He was great in Chicago. He's still doing good in Sacramento, even though that team is just trash right now. Imagine Kyrie, DeMar, LeBron, and K Love or something like that. If he just somehow joined instead of him on Toronto, the high flying we would have had, that would have been so much fun.
That would have been crazy, especially around the time too. Like, I think it was like trade rumors were around 2016, 2017, and like there were a bunch of players that mold. I think of personally like the one where a trade, I'm sure you've heard of it, like the trade that almost brought Paul George to Cleveland, like with the Kyrie Irving thing. So like it just would have been interesting to see, like, you put another like wing like that. Of course, Paul George may be a better defender than DeRozan, but I think DeRozan may be a little bit more efficient and reliable in the mid-range area. So I would have liked to seen that. So, and you say like pairing them like with the championship team, right? So Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love and stuff, maybe. Yeah, the one All-Star game, I think, when it was like DeRozan, LeBron, I think Kevin Love were all on the same team, and they look pretty good together.
It looked like a lot of fun, in my opinion.
And that was after they just changed the format of it too. So it was a little bit competitive for DeRozan's sake. I mean, he's always been on the wrong end of things, it seems like, for Cleveland, and putting them all together like would probably be a lot better.
Yeah, I always felt bad that we just destroyed Toronto so bad all the time, just because I did have so much respect for DeMar DeRozan.
I will say too, I mean, he played for my Chicago Bulls, of course, and I do agree. He's one of the players in recent years who's given me life as a Bulls fan, I will say, because there hasn't been a whole lot to cheer for ever since the D-Rose days. So.
Yeah. Man, those days were fun, though, I will say.
Yeah. What is one player that you wish played for your team?
Well, this is going to be a cheat a little bit. A guy who I wish stayed with the Cavs. Carlos Boozer, man. I mean, that guy did us dirty. That guy did us dirty. He was going to agree to a deal, and then I think he went back, and he left LeBron stranded.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I feel like people forget he played 1 year with Cleveland, with LeBron and everything like that. And then, later on, he becomes a multi-time All-Star with Utah. And even though he wasn't an All-Star with my Bulls and everything, like, he was still really good. And then I think also later on, you saw like him and LeBron with those Bulls Heat matchups, rivalries. I'm sure you remember the game when the Bulls snapped the Heat's 27-game winning streak, and like LeBron tried to go through Boozer's screen, and they both had like a jawing moment.
That was when I got into basketball. It was Carlos Boozer Bulls basketball. I mean, those were good old days for you guys.
That's an interesting one. I'll stay on the same subject. You said someone you wish stayed longer there. I wonder how the season would have went in 2018 if they kept those guys there at before the trade deadline. I know that was probably one of LeBron's best playoff runs individually, but they just stood no chance against the Warriors in the finals. Like, it was obvious. And even if probably the Rockets got there, I don't think they would have won either. If you had those other guys, I mean, they probably still lose, but I think they have enough experience that they could take maybe more games off it, make it interesting. If it gets like 2-2,
D Wade and Isaiah Thomas.
Like, yeah, D Wade, D Rose, Isaiah, and even if they didn't, like, that still would be a pretty crazy, turn of events if that team got to the finals and lost. I just feel like it was a little underwhelming. They get to the finals as a team standpoint, not for like LeBron individually or something, but. Yeah, but then that takes away LeBron's aura. We gotta think about LeBron's aura right now, okay? Because
the people are gonna be saying he won with D Wade and he won with D Rose and he couldn't get it done with Isaiah Thomas, and he couldn't, like, they would have been said it was a super team. Like, I already know what it is. But you're right, it would have been fun to see D Rose have some playoff moments,
like in the finals, what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would have been cool. I know you're saying this from a place of D Rose love. I'm saying this from a place of LeBron love. So
yeah, man. Yeah. We got the NBA Epic Tens minigame. Since there are so many guests, my game plan is to go through the minigame, all 3 turns for each person, and then show you guys the overall score at the end. So if you don't know how this game works, because each person is going individually, they're going to have 60 seconds to try and name me the players who are top 10 all time for a specific team in a specific stat. There's going to be 3 questions in total, and there's no penalty for getting a wrong answer. The higher rank will get you more points, as in the first ranked will get you 10 points. The 10th rank will get you 1 point. And we're just going to see how everybody does. Again, I'm going to show the scores at the end, but I am going to tell you guys which one they're going to be guessing before each one. So for the very first one, I gave them Denver Nuggets, top 10 all time in total rebounds. Go.
Total rebounds. Okay. Jokic, we'll start there. Marcus Camby. Dan Issel. Dikembe Mutombo. Kmart. And you said top 10, right?
Yes, top 10. You got about 40 seconds left.
LaFonso Ellis. Byron Beck. Alex English. I could see it. I'm just going to say it. Aaron Gordon. No, probably not, though. JaVale McGee.
You got about 20 seconds.
Nene. Eduardo Narha. The aforementioned Antonio McDyess. Total rebounds. Offensive
10 seconds.
rebounds.
4.
David Thompson.
1. Okay, that is time.
Carmelo Anthony.
Total rebounds. Jokic. Kenneth Faried. Nuggets. Melo. Carmelo Anthony. Jamal Murray.
Got about 40 seconds left.
Okay. Jamal Murray. The Birdman. Man. Dikembe had a run on the Nuggets.
20 seconds.
Man. I'm not too up on the Nuggets history, but I'll just. Michael Porter Jr. is not going to be on there. He didn't play long enough. He was a good rebounder.
I got 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
3, 2.
All right.
Okay, let me think of my different. Okay. Well, first off, Jokic, Carmelo Anthony, Fat Lever, Birdman was on Denver for a little bit. I'm not even gonna waste my time saying Allen Iverson.
You got about 35
Yeah,
seconds.
that's all I got, bro. I don't really know much. I don't really know much about the Nuggets. I still hate how they got rid of the baby blue. The navy is so ugly. But yeah.
That's all you got. You still got 20 more seconds if you wanna.
I'm trying to go another Denver player.
I'll say there's
That's
some
not
from the
current.
2000s.
That's not current.
There's some 2000s, 2010s era too. You got 15 more seconds.
Oh, okay. So okay. Okay, put Murray on there. You can put Paul Millsap.
3, 2.
Oh, yeah, that's it, bud. I don't know.
Cameron Mutombo. Cameron Mutombo. Kenyon Martin. Jokic. I'm just going through the list off names. Marcus Camby.
40 seconds left.
Eduardo Nahara. These guys. I'm trying to think how long they played there. Jeez Louise. Now I'm blanking on me.
20 seconds left.
Kenneth Faried.
10 seconds.
Really had a loss here. Do you think Nuggets big man?
3, 2, 1.
Okay, Nikola Jokic, obviously.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll throw in Aaron Gordon. Let's see who else.
40 seconds.
Carmelo. Carmelo Anthony, maybe. Dude, I don't know about the Nuggets that much.
Got 25 seconds.
Okay. I'm cooked.
You're cooked. You still got 10 seconds if you want. There's some guys from the 90s and 2000s still. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that is time.
Don't know if Jokic probably up there. I don't know any of their big men. This is the problem. Oh man, Nene maybe. Melo. I don't know if he played long enough. Carmelo Anthony, obviously. Alex English. I know he was more of a scorer, but he was there for a long time. Oh my lord.
You got about
I don't
30
know.
seconds.
Oh, I can't even think of Dikembe Mutombo played there for a couple of years as well. Maybe him. Nurkic wasn't there long enough. I know that.
Got about 10
Wow.
seconds.
I really don't know any of their big men. I'm really trying to think. I'm probably missing a bunch. I know I didn't list a whole lot, but dang.
Okay.
Jokic, Dan Issel, not Nate Thurmond. Dikembe Mutombo. Nurkic.
You got 40 seconds left.
I'm not gonna lie.
Fat Lever.
Okay. 25 seconds.
Orlando Woolridge.
That's quite the pull.
Fuck.
12 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Alex English.
Oh, okay, you got Alex English. Next up, we got the Toronto Raptors for question 2, and the category is total blocks. Go.
Total blocks. Okay. Chris Bosh, Jonas Valanciunas, DeMar DeRozan. I'm just gonna say based off his tenure, Vince Carter, Kawhi. It's also 60 seconds on this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Kawhi.
40 seconds left.
Oh man, total blocks. Say Chris Bosh.
30 seconds.
Jacob Pertl. I'm gonna say it, but it's dumb to say this. Marc Gasol. Yeah, total blocks, man, for the Raptors. Scotty Barnes, put him in there, might as well.
2, 1. Okay, that is time.
Ooh, total blocks. Okay. Siakam, OG, Marc Gasol, Dikembe, total blocks. Jakob total.
40 seconds left.
Chris Bosh, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady.
Got 25 seconds.
Okay. Chris Boucher, I don't know. He was there for a while.
10 seconds.
Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Damn, it's about 10. I don't even really watch. That's cool. Okay.
And it's all time.
I've been to Canada though. But okay, so top 10 of rebounds. Okay.
Blocks.
Oh, blocks.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
You got 45 seconds left.
Okay, I'm gonna say Kawhi. Nah, Lowry too little. Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter.
30 seconds.
Damn, this making me question my ball knowledge. Damn.
20 seconds.
Mark Gasol. I can't think of any other. I would say Emmanuel Quickie, but he just got on the team. So
10 seconds.
Another Raptors player, bro.
4, 3.
Yeah, I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
Okay. So that is time.
Total blocks. Hakeem Olajuwon, Antonio Daniels, Chris Bosh, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Serge Ibaka, Mark Gasol. I'm sure it's neither of them, but anyways, Marcus Camby,
35 seconds.
Keon Clark. It's not going to be him. I just want to throw that name out there. For excuse sake, Keon Clark.
20 seconds.
Why am I blanking on who's around in the Andrea Bargnani? Why not just say him for no good reason?
10 seconds.
Vince Carter, just to see if he is.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Blanked a little on those.
Total blocks. Okay. Pascal Siakam.
Okay.
Maybe what's his name? Jacob Hurdle or something. The center on their team right now.
Okay.
What's
35 seconds.
Did Valanciunas play for them for a while?
He did, yeah.
Okay, I'll guess Valanciunas.
Got about 25 seconds. There's a big man on there too, that 2000s time frame.
Oh, Chris Bosh.
There you go. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Okay. So that's time.
Again, is Dikembe Mutombo on that list? Because I think he played. Oh wait, no, I don't think he played. Man, Andrea Bargnani was definitely not on there. He was terrible. Is DeRozan might be on there just because he played there a long time. T-Mac, Vince, Patrick Peterson. I'm randomly thinking of him as well for some reason. Some of the older guys that, man, I do not know who was on that team. Oh, there's someone on who's with an A or something.
10 seconds.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. This is a lot harder just because of the blocks. I really don't know. Lowry me? I doubt it.
Bosh. Amir Johnson. Pascal Siakam. Valanciunas. Vince Carter.
40 seconds left.
Charles Oakley, maybe. I want to say Patrick Patterson.
15 seconds.
I want to say
5, 4,
Antonio Davis.
2, 1. Okay. That is time. And to close it out, we got Boston Celtics, total steals, and let's go.
Total steals. Okay. We'll just start off with the obvious. So Larry Bird. I don't think he stole many, but Bill Russell, Kevin McHale, Rajon Rondo, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. Ray Allen played there for a good minute, so we'll say Ray Allen. I'll say both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart was there good for a good minute. We'll say Marcus Smart.
30 seconds left.
Steals. Tony Allen.
Twenty seconds.
20 seconds. I'm trying to think more defensive players.
10 seconds.
I think I said already, but Marcus Smart. I think I said him
You
though.
did say him. 3, 2.
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay. Go.
Steals, Dennis Johnson, Tony Allen, Rondo, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Bill Russell. I don't know if they counted steals. Who else? Kevin McHale. Who else? Just go with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. Steals.
You got 30 seconds left.
Yes, Thomas. Okay. Steals.
20 seconds.
Antoine Walker, maybe.
10 seconds.
Al Horford.
5.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
3, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boston Celtics top time in total steals.
Yep.
The Celtics. Okay. Okay. Is it Rajon? Is it Rajon Rondo? I think that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown. You said top 10. Jaylen Brown. Kevin McHale.
About 35 seconds.
Avery Bradley.
25 seconds. There's Robert Williams. I know that's not. 15 seconds. I think it's some popular Celtics too.
I hate the Celtics. Larry Bird.
Okay.
I think I already said him.
5 seconds. 2, 1.
Yeah.
Oh, Larry Bird, Tony Delk, Kevin McHale, Bill Russell. The Robert Parrish, Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, maybe Kevin Garnett, who knows.
Got about 30 seconds left.
Antoine Walker. Just trying to think of guys who were there for a while. Jason Tatum. What's the other guy's name with the big contract? Oh God, I forget his name. But him.
15 seconds.
Marcus Smart.
5 seconds.
Blanked a little bit.
1. Okay.
Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Who else? I'm gonna throw Bird on there. I'm not sure if he's on there, but it's possible for sure.
40 seconds. There might be some early 2010s, late 2000s players on here.
Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo for sure.
Okay.
Dude, there's one.
20 seconds. 10 seconds.
Yeah, might just be
Some Bird teammates still. Pierce teammates.
Danny Ainge.
2, 1. Okay, that is time.
Well, Havlicek stole the ball, so John Havlicek, Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, probably, Tiny Archibald, Kevin McHale, maybe Robert Parrish, because they were just big men. I'll just list a couple of the newer guys, Tatum and Brown, because they've been playing there for almost 10 years now. Paul Pierce, KG.
30 seconds left.
Rondo as well. Oh man, I'm trying to think of the other point guards and guards as well.
15 seconds.
Yeah, wow. I really do hate the Celtics, so thank you for giving me this. They're one of my least favorite teams. Kyrie was not on there long enough. Isaiah Thomas, no. Yeah.
JoJo White, John Havlicek, Paul Pierce, Rondo,
Got 40 seconds.
fuck, why am I always blanking here? Oh, Dennis Johnson, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown,
20 seconds.
Avery Bradley.
Got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. That is time. So we got Willy G first off. In the first question, he went for 47 points. Second one, he got 26 points. And the third one, he got 35 points. On the Denver Nuggets one, he got the top 5 answers of 7 and 8. Camby and Nene especially were really good. Chris Bosh, Valanciunas, Vince Carter, and Jakob Poeltl. Then the top 4 answers on the Celtics and Jason Tatum, number 10, bringing him to 108 total points. Then we got Aden, who went for 19 points, 25 points, and 48 points. He got the number 1, 4, and 9 answer, including Kenneth Faried for the Nuggets. The 1, 4, 6, 9, and 10 answers for the Raptors, including Siakam and Poeltl. And then the top 6 for Celtics and 9 and 10, Dennis Johnson and Jason Tatum, bringing him to 92 points. Then NoaTalksBasketball got 11 points, then 7 points, then 17. He got the number 1 answer for the Nuggets and the number 10, Jokic and Fat Lever. For the Raptors, he got number 4, Vince Carter. For the Celtics, he got number 2 and 3, Larry Bird and Rondo, bringing him to 35 points. As for NBA Real Talk, he got 23 points, then 30, and then 46. So he improved every time. Number 1, 4, 7, and 9 answers for the Nuggets, including Camby and Kenneth Faried. Got the number 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8 answers for the Raptors, including Camby and Andrea Bargnani, and Antonio Davis was a good one. And then for the Celtics, he got numbers 1 through 6, and then Tatum at number 10 for 99 points. NateThaGreat, 10 points, then 21, then 38. He only got Jokic for the Nuggets, but he got Bosh, Valanciunas, Siakam, and Poeltl for the Raptors. Top 4 answers for Boston, along with Danny Ainge, which was a really good pull at number 8, and then Jason Tatum at number 10, bringing him to 69 points. Then we got Joey, who went for the number 1, 4, 5, and 8 answers for the Nuggets. That gave him 26 points. The 4 and 7 answers, Vince Carter and Bargnani for the Raptors, giving him 11. And then the Celtics, he got the top 3, Pierce, Bird, and Rondo, along with Robert Parrish. He got Danny Ainge and Jason Tatum at that 10 spot, giving him 37 more points, a total of 74. And lastly, we got Hoopsnmma, 34 points, then 40, then 33 again. Jokic and Dan Issel, top 2 for the Nuggets. Also Mutombo and Alex English at that 4-5. Fat Lever at number 10. Top 5 answers for the Raptors, including Amir Johnson, which was a pretty good pull on this one, and Antonio Davis. Pascal Siakam, number 9. Top 3 for the Celtics, Ainge, Johnson, and Tatum. Total of 107 points.
So I thought of Fat for a second, but I was like, he was a guard, you know, and in an era where the guards didn't really, you know, go up and down as much as far as scoring or into the paint as they might do today. I forgot Pascal Siakam. I could definitely see Amir Johnson because of all the time that he played there, but I just remember Boston Celtics, Amir Johnson, honestly, at this point before he was out of the league. It is what it is. I respect that score still, though.
108, and I will tell you, you are currently the leader for the season.
Heck yeah.
Heck
yeah.
Very good.
It's my season. It's my season then.
It might be. How do you feel about the 108?
I think that's, I mean, if you said I'm the first person across, you know, into triple digits, that's a big win for me, so I'll take it. As I always say, get out there, play basketball. Ball is life. Enjoy it. Watch Jokic because we are witnessing generational greatness, once in a lifetime player.
Like the Danny Ainge, especially, like he's a famous Celtic, you know, so I should have got him. But D Brown, slam dunk champion, respect to D Brown.
I will say that, like I said, that was a really good showing. That brings your total to 92 points.
Nice.
That's really good. How does that feel?
That's good. The Celtics, they saved me. The first two, not good, but yeah, the Celtics, they always come in clutch.
I mean, even then, though, still, like, you were at 44, I think, for the first two. So, on that average, you still would have been somewhere in the middle of the pack. Because a 60, 65 score, that would have been like a middle of the pack one.
It was a good shot, for sure.
35 points overall.
I usually only got like 1 to 2 names, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I be on, you know, my memory be fried, bro. Like, I be on some Kevin Durant chilling, you know, like, yeah, like, I think, shit, I'm high right now. You know, I think it calmed me down, like a glass of wine. I think that was probably the best one I done did so far, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Last year, I think on the D Rose one.
Did I? I thought I did pretty bad.
I think like in the tournament, I think you lost in the first round, but I think in the season, you had a good score. I think you were like right in the middle, like, so. But yeah, 99 points.
That's a good score.
I know it might feel like you wish you would have got that 100 because it was in reach, but hey, in 2K, the highest rating like on the regular roster is a 99, so you could be like a 99 overall.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with 99, man. Well, I would love to relish in that, but let's be honest, in these tournaments, I'm known for starting decent at least and kind of falling on my face towards the end. Like a star caliber player would say after winning game 1, we ain't finished here. Job done, job not finished. Job finished, there's not finished, nothing to be smiling about. If I'm going to smile, I'll smile.
Hey, shout out.
If I win a tournament, you get the hat, right? That's the deal.
That is true. I might have to pull some strings, Chauncey Billups or Terry Rozier style. No, I'm just kidding. You're like you're in the middle ground, so
not too bad, I guess. I'll take it.
Not too shabby. Every round actually you did even better. I think the first round maybe the game caught you a little bit off guard, but I think the second and third round were both really respectable. Like you got 21 and 38, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I also don't really know that much about the Nuggets or the Raptors, so I'm not a great ball knower. I mean, I know some, but not too great.
They were some weird choices. I will agree, especially because like most people would probably know, oh yeah, like top 10 scorers for each franchise. But when I throw in like blocks or steals or something, like it becomes a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, bro. Want to thank you for having me on the show again. I had a lot of fun.
74 points. That's not too bad. How's it feel?
Not terrible, no. Take that after my last trivia mishap.
That is true. But we'll see. Maybe bounce back season. You never know.
Oh, 100%. That just means I gotta play 2K a little more and play on those historical teams a lot more.
Now that, I mean, you know the minigame, you know what to expect for the next time, too.
Yes, it is. That is true. Thank you for having me on.
107, which is pretty good. How does that feel?
Feels okay, man. I feel like I should have gotten D Brown, but I'm okay with that.
One of the top scores of the season so far. And on this episode, the second highest score. You only missed it out by 1 point. It was 108 per episode, but
damn, okay. Well, then I feel pretty good.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you could be on for this. It was a good performance there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to keep this outro short because the video is long enough as it is. But shout out all 7 of these guests. Willy G, Aden, NoaTalksBasketball, NBA Real Talk, NateThaGreat, Joey, Hoopsnmma. Couldn't have been possible without you guys. just wanted to do something different for this episode, you know? So stay tuned for more Bullony Basketball. We'll be talking about the other 25 teams, a lot more very soon. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.